Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Challenge 40, Episode 8, the Era of the Gladiator live review with your faves. It's Reality Unloaded Podcast, and it's your girl, Keeks.
I'm Lina.
And I'm Brandon.
And again, we're going to be recapping and reviewing Episode 8 of the Challenge, Season 40, Battle of the Eras, baby. And Lina's back, y'all. For those that were asking, Lina is back from her trip. Okay.
Thank you for the love, y'all. I heard there was so much love. I appreciate it.
There
Love you
was. They was asking
too.
for you. They was really out here like, where's Lina? Is she gonna come back? I thought she was gonna be back. It was like, dang, Lena's away. She gotta take off too, she deserves her time off. But thank you guys for joining us. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Reality Unloaded Pod and at Reality Unloaded Podcast on TikTok. And yeah, we're gonna get right into it. This episode was much more entertaining to me than the last one. One of the last two episodes was very boring.
The one before that.
The one before
that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was entertaining. The men are providing. Shocking. The men are providing. Corey, mainly, you are providing the drama. So just much appreciated. And yeah, it was a really great time. Really good episode overall. Honestly, the gladiator of it all, I was just like, are they trying to reach a certain word count? With all the gladiator talk, I was like, gladiator this, gladiator that. Oh my gosh. Like, it was a lot.
It was a little overkill.
Yeah, they were definitely being sponsored a bit, some of the budget. Let's all say that.
And let's ask the public, let's ask the people, are y'all gonna go watch the Gladiator movie now? Does it make you want to go watch it?
Did the challenge convince you?
It didn't convince Brandon. Clearly, because he's shaking his head. No. The only reason why I'd watch it is because of Denzel Washington, really, and maybe like Pedro Pascal, but that's about it, babes. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Keep them coming. We're gonna be highlighting some of those, not all of them. We can't do it all. But before we get into it, we want to give a little disclaimer because lately we've been getting a little dragged in our comments, and that's fine. Y'all can share y'all's opinions just like we can share ours. However, let's be clear. Just like how y'all have y'all biases, we have ours. We never said that this was going to be critiqued or reviewed like this was freaking ESPN news or whatever. What do they call those sports talks games or whatever? I don't know. But we're not going on stats. We're talking about entertainment value as well. Us as a pod, we appreciate the drama. So you may not agree with us, and that's okay, but don't get disrespectful because we will get disrespectful back or hit you with that block. Okay, just a reminder. Because a lot of y'all, or not a lot of y'all, I apologize, not a lot of y'all, some of y'all got in our comments and we're trying to undermine our intelligence and talking to us, talking about like, we lack critical thinking skills. Babes, you lacked critical thinking when you were typing that long ass message to us. So before you start typing it up going crazy in the comments, just remember that block button or that unsubscribe button is right there. You don't have to announce your departure, babes. Okay?
We just ask that you guys move with love because it really is. It's just an open space. Keep the comments coming. Just move with love. That's all we ask.
Yeah, like y'all know, for the people that watch this pod, y'all know I'm not a huge fan of Tori, but you don't see me down in Tori's comments telling her how much I dislike her. That wouldn't make sense. That's not productive.
That is true.
That is very true.
Let's just be clear about that. That's our little disclaimer. And let's start. So, we start off episode 8 with Derek, Kay, and Rachel bonding over the last two challengers for Era 1. And Rachel talks about being the queen of the challenge as she should. Because she
absolutely
is. Okay. And I was like, yes, Rachel, big yourself up. Derek mentions his leg, and it clearly is not getting better. I know that Derek did do, I believe, a People article interview where he mentioned his leg and the whole situation. So if you want to check that out, he did share some insight on that. But we also see Jenny complaining to Michelle that there's a lack of, or her lack of relationships and alliances have landed her as the target several times over and over a few others. Casey, you know, from Era 4 as the target. And how did y'all feel about this moment? Because I was just like, I feel like Jenny has every right to be upset. And then we kind of see Casey throwing a little bit of shade, talking about clearly Jenny lacks gameplay and
Mm-hmm.
control, and she's
Mm-hmm.
working with a bunch of rookies
Rookies.
on Era
See,
4.
what I really didn't like about this comment is that Jenny started before Casey. Let's make
Yeah.
that very clear. She was on the challenge before Casey. Okay, you might have been on more and lost more challenges than she has, but she's in no way, shape, or form a rookie just because she isn't a part of the Vacation Alliance. And that is just, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way how she referred to her as a rookie, because at the end of the day, if it was two of them in the stand, my money's on Jenny. Depending on what it
Yeah.
is, it could be in Casey's favor, but overall, I think Jenny is just. I think her win specifically, I would look at more than I would look at Casey's, who some might say was
Absolutely.
carried by a certain person. But that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I definitely think Casey toots her horn a little bit too much. And I think she doesn't realize that most of her gameplay is being protected by her alliance. Casey isn't in too many eliminations. And, we've seen her flop in a lot of like the finals, whether it's getting injured. She's not the greatest at puzzles. So, I think it's very ironic when she says like she's playing with a bunch of rookies, when in reality, yeah, you're strong, but what have you really brought to the challenge? You're not really a memorable challenger
At all. At all. It was just very surprising to hear that from Casey, because I said, Casey, you're smarter than this. Jenny won before you. Jenny started her challenge career before you. Please,
I just
let's
don't know
not.
what her problem with Jenny is, because this is like the second or third time that she's
Mm-hmm.
coming for her. And I'm just like, okay, something. We might have missed something. I don't know. But it just sounds like she's hating on Jenny
Mm-hmm.
with the edit
Mm-hmm.
that they're giving us.
I
Oh,
agree.
comes off as a jealous person. Yeah. Uh-huh.
She does. And I don't know
Sophie.
why. I don't know why. It's very odd. Why couldn't they get Devon over Casey? Maybe because Devon was probably filming some other show. Devon is booked and busy, okay? That's a real
Yes,
entertaining
girl.
CBS girly, okay? That's the type of
Yes.
CBS players we would like on the challenge. But that's one in a billion when it comes to the CBS players. But yeah, moving on from the couch. So we go to Corey and Nehemiah discussing Era 2 and Era 3 and how they should be locked in to protect each other. Corey mentions working with Era 4 hasn't been beneficial for his game because he's not a part of the Vacation Alliance. And it's like, yeah, we knew that already from jump. How did y'all feel about this conversation regarding them being protected, trying to protect one another, but clearly there's this strong alliance between, or they assume there's a strong alliance between Era 2 and Era 3?
So, I have to say, like, to comment first about Corey saying that, it's not in his favor to work with Era 4 because of the vacation. He should have woken up to that when Amanda was still in there,
And
because,
Tony.
it's really late to now wake up to that fact that the Vacation Alliance will never back you up, that you are a side piece to them. And once they're done, you will become their pawn that they can get rid of. So, Corey, you kind of put yourself there. And I feel like he does it season after season, where he like starts off aligning with the wrong people and then kind of wakes up mid-season. Yeah, that's kind of my comment on Corey and why he is where he is.
Yeah, I agree. It's time for Corey sometimes to like wake up and smell the coffee. Like, These people don't care about you. You're never gonna be their number one, two, three, not even four, maybe, because there's like 15 people in their alliance already. So like, and they're already cracking within the alliance, as we see later on in the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
So to Amanda's defense, what she was saying was absolutely true. And now he's just realizing it later on, and it might be a little too late. We don't know. But hopefully he can pivot from the situation and
Hmm.
figure out his next step.
Yeah. Hopefully him and Nehemiah, and clearly, like, obviously use their alliance within themselves and the few select others that they have working with them to get the vacation alliance out of there, because they gotta go. So then we see Ryan packing up and changes his bedrooms to avoid talking to Laurel and Bananas.
This was
He's over
great.
here cracking jokes about Laurel's laugh, that she laughs like a witch, and that Bananas, he just talks about himself, which we all knew that. And then we see a little montage of Bananas obviously rambling about himself. Shout out to production for that edit. That was really funny. And Bananas mentioning that he has the best challenge podcast. Yo,
He
how many
hasn't
of
tuned
y'all?
into ours.
I have a question really quick. I found that interesting that they actually let him say that when they have their own challenge podcast. So it felt like a little conflict of interest for me, or to me. So it was just really interesting that they let him say it, and it made the edit.
And Sophie, you mentioned this. So we finally got a little interaction between Ryan and Laurel. And Laurel, in this moment, she mentions that, her and Ryan had a falling out because Nicole and her had a falling out, but like that Nicole was texting Ryan like repeatedly or just like excessively. And I'm just like, this is interesting, because from what Ryan is saying, and I don't know if you guys have seen, but like Ryan and Nicole were on Instagram Live together, and they were talking about the relationship. And it seemed like Laurel was the one that like led that wedge between them, because she was doing too much. Like Ryan had to disclose that apparently he gave like Laurel a spare key to his apartment, that she was kind of like demanding things, like she was staying at his house while like her and Nicole were going through their own things, pretty much couch surfing. So it was pretty interesting. I was just like, okay, we really don't know the ins and outs of the relationships, but it's just funny considering what is being put out there on the show and then what is coming out after. Um, yeah.
Can I be honest though? I wasn't a huge fan of the part where she kind of said that she really likes Cara Maria. Like when Ryan asks her about like Cara Maria, and she goes, I actually like Cara Maria. I have nothing against her.
Oh.
That really my hate for Cara came out of Laurel's hate for Cara. And to me, it didn't really make
It's fake.
sense.
It's fake.
Yeah, like it really didn't make sense. Like you really were a very big bully to Cara Maria in All Stars 4. Like some of the things that Nicole had said. And I kind of wish you would have taken a moment to like own that more than just kind of say like, oh, I just kind of followed in Laurel's footsteps. Like that really rubbed me the wrong way.
I feel like Nicole does that often. She kind of flows where the wind goes and where the majority goes, and she's like, I want to be a cool kid, I'll go this way. So I don't know. That's why when she said that comment, I was just like, okay, Nicole.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either. But anyway, Nicole's not on the season, thankfully. So we can stop talking about her. Yeah, let's move on from that. Just over Nicole. It didn't make sense to me either. But yeah, Bananas mentioned that he has the best challenge podcast, right? And I did find that interesting. Personally, I don't listen to the challenge podcast if two of the girlies in the Vacation Alliance are hosting it. I will listen to it here and there with Devon and Devin, because those are the ones to listen to. However, do I think that the challenge podcast itself, the official podcast, is better than Zach Nichols' podcast? No. And that is very surprising coming from me. Like
Zach's is good. I'm
But
sorry.
Zach's is
Like,
Zach's
way
is
better.
good.
Zach's
Yeah.
is the better podcast from any of the challengers. Zach has the better podcast. It feels like a lot of the challengers that do go on there are much more comfortable talking to him than they would be talking to Bananas. And again, Bananas just talks about himself.
Yeah.
So the banana man won't shut the hell up about himself. So I thought that was very interesting. Like you said, Brandon, I was surprised that they even let him say that for real, for real. And then we get to Theo and Derek meeting up and having a conversation about working together. And Theo points out nobody's actually come to me to make a deal. So if nobody's coming to you, that means that they are working against you. So of course he takes up Derek's offer to work alongside them because they know Era 1 is down bad. It's only two of them left. They need all the numbers they can get. And I felt like this was a smart move. I was like, finally, I mean, it only took two of y'all to be left in Era 1 for y'all to start really making moves. I felt like Rachel again, and I said this like 2 episodes ago. I felt like Rachel was really trying to start politicking a little bit more. But yeah, how did y'all feel about that conversation?
it was about time. But the same way you feel, it's like you guys have two people left, and you should have integrated yourselves within Era 3 and Era 4 already at this point. So, I mean, it was about time. I saw it coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it was a very smart move on Derek's end, especially because we really haven't seen Theo a lot like align with really anybody. Like he's kind of just going along with his era. So it was smart because listen, Theo in the end of the day is strong. Like I think I'm seeing a much stronger Theo this season than I've seen before. So it was a very smart move. And let's be honest, they need all the help that they can get right now. So good job, Derek.
Literally. And let's get into the daily challenge. Brandon, do you want to break down the rules of the daily challenge? This gladiator challenge?
Yeah. So we see that the daily challenge is called Battle of Honor. And clearly, this is being sponsored by Gladiator 2. But again, inspired by the film itself, this game is played in 20-minute rounds, one male round and one female round. And each player will use a riot shield to push their opponents out of the moat and into the water. The team with the most players left standing at the end wins the challenge. And just a reminder of targets for everyone. Era 1 targets are Rachel and Derek K. Era 2 targets are Car Maria and Derek C. Era 3 targets are Corey and Avery. And then Era 4 are Theo and Jenny.
Yeah, we definitely agree with you, Sophie. I don't think we really understood how Era 1 would possibly not be the losing team in this.
Right,
I
right.
kind of wish that they had chosen their one player from each team. They should have done this earlier. Exactly. They should have chosen
When they
one
had more
player from
players.
each team. Yeah. And then they fight to the finish. And then it could have gone round for round. And then Rachel obviously could have just fought each round, but at least it would have been fair with the amount of people that there were, you know? I just felt like it wasn't fair.
I agree. I feel like they dropped the ball on this one. It ultimately felt like you already knew everyone was going to be the losers automatically, especially with how they explained like you need to have the most players left standing on the platform and that's who wins. So it's like Era 1 is going to lose point blank period. So it really was just to determine the winner. You had mentioned this, Brandon. I feel like they could have done it like 4 people at a time in multiple heats, and like Derek and Rachel just have to dog it out. Like, unfortunately, but it would have given them more breaks in between and not have to battle it out with so many people. I just felt like it was ridiculous. And listen, like we see for the men's round, like Derek really tries to stay out of the line of attack and all this stuff, but Clearly strategy is like era 1 and era 4 are working together, and era 2 and era 3 are working together. So it was bound to be like 2 or 3, um obviously the eras with the most people winning. And I just felt like Derek tried his best, but it was just so hard. Like how the heck was he gonna get out of that? Like, and he has a bad leg.
I mean, he was doing well at first. He was just staying away. I saw he was hopping around. He was letting them do all the work. Like I would have done the
Mhm.
same thing, even with a good leg,
Mhm.
because it
Yeah.
looked brutal.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and even watching them, it was like, yeah, Era 2 and Era 3 were supposed to be working together, but even at one point they were like turning on each other because I think it was like Era 3 that got Bananas out first.
Mm-hmm.
It really was kind of a mishposh of like everything. Like it was actually
Mhm.
hard for me to even follow like who was hitting who was getting
Yeah.
out. Theo definitely got a lot of the brunt of the hits though with like Corey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, Corey did that damn thing though. Like he was angry and yes.
Yeah. Corey was doing the damn thing. Like clearly you could tell that he was using his football skills to use. And again, like you saw, like you mentioned, like era 2 and era 3 were supposed to be working together, but then you see Nehemiah pretty much knock Jordan, who was knocking Derek K out of the water. And then that leads to both of them being out. Corey was going for everybody. They're over there piling on Theo. And then
Corey
pretty
was like a bull in the ring. I don't know what that thing is called, but a bull when they run free, that was Corey, basically.
that bull.
In like the stadium when they
Yeah,
released the
yeah. Like
Yeah,
bull,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
Corey.
yeah.
Toro or whatever. I don't freaking know. But yeah. I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
wait,
It's
are you
it's
talking
just,
about like a rodeo? Like when the
In
rodeo when they
Spain, when they
ride?
released the bull, and
Oh, running with the bulls?
yes, that was
Okay.
Corey.
kind of like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
A mess.
we see that Devin pretty much tells Corey when there's like 3 minutes on the clock, like, hey, make a deal with Theo to lose, and that Corey will save him, maybe. But Theo's like, no, there's no deal. I'm sticking to my word, and honors his deal with Derek K, which I understand why Theo would do that, but I was just like, Theo, like, just say you will, kind of thing. I don't know. And then Corey, literally before Theo can fully like recuperate, like, and get his shield back up, Corey goes, okay, let's go. No deal.
Yo,
And literally
it was so
knocks
good.
the wind out of him. I was dying. I was like,
Oh
dang,
man.
Corey, you mad. And Theo gets eliminated eventually because he cannot get up off the ground. And this is when we first learn that, if you're sticking to the ground and you don't get up, like, you're gonna get eliminated after a certain time frame. I wish they kind of would have told us that prior, because what I was thinking was like, I'm gonna protect myself. I'm gonna go down on the ground, if anything, at first, like looking at this. But yeah, I was like, oh wow, Theo gets eliminated. That's crazy. And we see a lot of the guys bleeding. Josh is bleeding. Jordan is
Yeah.
has a cut or whatever. It was a lot. They were going in on each other.
For sure. Yeah,
I
and
mean,
you
it
know
is
what?
the
You're
challenge.
yeah, and it is a good point. Like, why keep the deal with Derek? But at the same time, like, I don't know. I'm a sucker for a man who keeps his word. So, like, the fact that Theo did not go back on his deal, all right, you making that poppy list that I have. So, all right, keep that up.
Not the
Okay.
populace.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's
Okay.
what's
Lena's
happening.
populist. I mean, okay.
Corey has risen to the top. Him and Horacio are up there, babe.
And
Oh
then
god.
after that, like, we see the guys, obviously they're taking off their life jackets. Corey's pissed, he's livid, he's going off, he's just like, all these people have been screwing me over, kind of thing. And then Derek makes a comment, and I forgot what the comment was exactly, but it sets Corey off, and he's just like, bro, I showed you mercy, and now they're yelling at each other. Derek's like, I will kick your ass, like, I don't give a damn, I will fuck you up, all this shit. And I'm just like, damn. Why are y'all fighting? I'm kind of confused now. But they're over here about to scrap and everything. And Derek throws his life jacket at Corey's back while his back is turned. And obviously, if I was Corey, I would be pissed if somebody threw something at me while my back was turned, regardless if it was a life jacket or not. But then again, I still don't understand what exactly caused them to start yelling at
Happen.
each other like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Brandon, you
I
had
mean,
said you felt
overall,
like
though, yeah, I feel like we missed something. But either way, I know Corey was just mad. He's mad he's in this current situation. He's mad that he has to represent his team as a target. It's not fair. There is another person specifically who should be the target this week, and that person screwed him over. And then another person screwed him over from another era. Like, if I was Corey, I would get it. I would be mad at everyone,
yeah.
the whole world. But I will say though, we've seen Corey mature, because if this was the old Corey who got mad over pasta, then he would have gone home. And you just saw him walk away after the life jacket.
I
But
wish
I
Derek
just
messed
call
with
it
Corey
growth.
Pasta. Yeah, I still can't remember. Was it penne vodka? Like, what was the pasta? Like,
It was something good. You know, when you're drunk and you're like coming home from the
yes.
club and you're like, I got that pasta. I would have been pissed.
I would have been mad too. I'm not gonna lie. Like somebody ate my food, bro. Like or knocked down my food, I would have been mad. Wait, the boo. You said they changed the rule mid daily, so when they did that, they just kept Theo on the ground to get him out. Oh, well, if they changed the rule mid daily, they should have changed the rule so that it would be fair for Era One. Like, I'm confused. Like, why didn't they think this through better? I'm just annoyed. Like, it really gave Era One no chance. But anyway, so let's get into the women's round. And go ahead, Lena. How did you feel about the women's round?
You know, the women's round, not much happened. Like, was it just Naya, I think, who got eliminated actually throughout the entire. I think it was just Naya who got eliminated. Which I was shocked about, actually. I thought she was gonna dominate, to be honest.
Me too.
I think sis just lost her balance.
Me too.
Avery was concerned about her moneymaker face. She said she didn't want anybody to hit her face, which was, I'm like, Avery, just go away. What did you guys think about Tori though? Like Tori trying to kind of hide, wasn't really.
I didn't
trying to get
understand why people
into
weren't
it.
going to her. I
Well,
was
they
like,
did.
why are y'all-
I thought it was
I mean,
smart.
eventually,
Yeah.
it was smart of her. It was very smart of her to like obviously take the attention away from her and not trying to get people to come her way. But I thought it was interesting that like she got away with it for so long as she
Yeah.
did.
Mhm.
I was just like, why
I
don't y'all
think she
realize?
was the only girl from her era, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think she said, "Oh, I realized I'm the only one left from my era, so I have to like."
Yeah,
I
because
could be
Anaya
wrong.
and Avery both lost.
Yeah.
At that point.
Oh,
Mhm.
Avery did get out too. Okay.
So that's why
Mhm,
she was fighting
Yeah.
so hard to stay on. But I think it was smart of her to hide, but it was smart of the other people to try to go for her, because I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, Sophie. I don't think she was being ganged up on. I
Not
think
ganged up on.
I think
Because
she
it
was
could have
trying
been
to
for
be.
Rachel as well.
Yeah. I think she was trying to hide in the corner, and Kara got a glimpse and was like, "Oh no, like let's go." And but you see, that was another thing that confused me, right? Because they all went for each other. Like I was like, I thought Era 2 and Era 3 were working together. I don't know. There was really no strategy in my mind like that came with this game, but
I
it
felt
is what
like
it
as
is.
soon as people started getting hit, they lost all strategy. They were like, oh, like this is actually a lot harder than we thought it was going to be.
They were
I feel
all
like Era
functioning with
2
a
and Era
concussion.
3 have like a fake, like, I'll look out for you if you look out for me kind of situation. Other than obviously like Nehemiah and Naya and Nehemiah and Corey. But other than that, they don't really have anything like that deep with each other. It's just like they're just the strongest teams at the end of
Yeah.
the day. So
Yeah. But I do agree, Brandon. Tori definitely did hold her own, especially
She
when
did.
like Kara, Laurel, Rachel, they all came for her. She definitely did. I mean,
And
I
she
don't
knocked
think
down
we've
Kara.
ever. Yeah, and I don't think we've ever questioned how strong Tori is. Like physically, we know Tori's a strong competitor.
Yeah, she is very strong. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Yeah. I did find it really quick interesting though, that Laurel was actually helping Kara because Kara was basically a target. So it was just interesting to see.
You know what it is though? Like this is Laurel's tactics. Like she really plays like a cat and mouse game, right? So like I feel like she gives Kara a little bit to reel her in and then like goes in full attack mode. So no, I'm not surprised. I think this is just leading to another blowout between Laurel and Kara. I don't know if we'll see it, but I think that's
God,
just kind of what happens.
I hope not. I'm over it. I'm so over it. Like I would just rather they just not communicate with one another. And yes, at least they stopped talking about that annoying relationship because they milked it dry. Okay. Um,
Oh my God. Please do not bring that up because I was so sad when I saw that Darrell because Darrell should have won that. Sorry, I know that was last episode, but I am mad at that chocolate man. That was a fail. He should have put in that number.
yeah. I
Sorry.
don't know what was happening with him. Very surprised by that outcome still to this day. So I get it. All right, so we're moving on. So Era 4 ends up being the winning team. Shocker. Is anyone shocked? No.
No.
And then Era 1, of course, is the losing team. Duh. Like, again, I just felt like, what was the point of this elimination if y'all knew Era 1 was not going to stand the chance at all? And if y'all
Yeah.
modified the rules within the daily, y'all could have thought about this a little bit better or swap this with another daily challenge. It just was not good. I did not appreciate the way that this went down.
It was
But hey,
unfulfilling.
yeah, at all. At
Mm.
all. Like maybe it was because it was lined up with the promo of the movie and them getting the stuff to promote the movie. I don't know, but it didn't it it shouldn't have been
It
the
didn't
challenge for
work.
this week. It
Yeah.
didn't work this week. Um so then we get back, the challengers are back at the house, and Derek and Ryan talk about possibly saving Avery, but Derek is also concerned for the safety of his game, which is valid. I understand that. And he's like, listen, I'm not going to try to downplay anybody. I'm not going to try to talk shit about anybody when I go down in the chamber, but I have to be smart about this. Like, Avery did save me and put her game on the line when her and Tony were the targets. Or no, they were the winners of the week.
Yeah.
So I understand
Mhm.
that. How did y'all feel about this? Like, do y'all feel like, because we will see it a little bit later, do y'all feel like since Derek was saved by Avery as hard as she went in as hard as she did for him, do you feel like he should have returned that favor?
No.
Look, at the
I
end of
think
the day, really quick, these are not best friends. Like they're not like ride or dies to the point where they talk to each other every single day. So no, you helped me out, and he said it perfectly. I won't throw you under the bus, but I gotta also look out for myself. So
I was going to say, I think it's also a very different dynamic because when Avery was trying to save him, she was the position of power. Derek is not the position of power. Like Derek is also kind of down in the chamber defending himself and he's defending his partner. So, putting himself in is automatically forcing Kara to go in. So that's really
Right.
it's kind of like a different situation. So I know at one point in the deliberation, Avery says that this would be Derek's chance to kind of pay her back. But I think it's just a very different situation. And I don't think that's right.
I agree. I don't think, and again, it's interesting because we don't even see Avery and Derek have this conversation. Like I'm also curious. Did y'all have any talk about Derek
Yeah.
returning the favor or anything like that? Because then I would
they might
understand.
have. I
Right, and they
wouldn't be
made me
surprised because editing's been choppy. So
right. That's true. But like I feel like they would have shown it in that moment, or at least done a little flashback to it. I don't know. Because again, it just seems like Avery did him that solid, but there was no follow up to that or anything. I don't know. So then we see Era 3, they're in their rooms, and they're discussing strategy for the deliberation. And Avery has the idea of mentioning that Era 3 and Era 4 worked together previously, and if they save Corey and Avery, it would be an olive branch for them to fight together. Which I understand, that makes sense. Like, if they've been working together this entire time, why ruin that? Why risk that? And then they even say like Corey can angle it, like if they do, like for example, Jenny votes Corey in, then he's gonna take that as a personal attack because she's already thrown him in there. Which I also understood. So I felt like the way that they were going towards this deliberation at the in the chamber was very smart. I was like, I feel like their arguments are valid. How did y'all feel about what they were discussing and how to go in there?
No,
I mean,
I
I
do
thought
think it was this. Go ahead,
go.
Brandon.
I was gonna say I thought it was smart. Like, obviously, Corey is basically like, yeah, whatever, like, that works. But she's obviously the brains of it, and Corey is just like, he has his speech already made up in his head. You could tell. So it was just funny to see them kind of like strategizing on what to say. But I think Avery is someone who is very smart, especially in these situations. So I wasn't surprised that she came up with that either way.
And I think it's a really nice change to see her being more strategic because again, I don't feel like we saw that in like at least the last season she appeared in All Stars 4. So it's good to kind of see her strategizing and really kind of coming up on her own. So and you know, she even presented it. I think overall in the deliberation it was pretty, I think everyone just defended their point. Like it didn't really kind of get too gruesome.
Yeah, and since we're already going into deliberation, Lena, like you can go ahead and expand on that a little bit since you touched on it a little bit right there.
Yeah. So in the deliberation, I think each person kind of has a chance to defend their point. So really, Avery starts by mentioning that Jenny had previously called out Corey's name, and if she doesn't do it this time around, again, you know, eras 3 and 4 can work together again. You know, Derek really went in with the claim that he doesn't want to throw anybody under the bus. But he also doesn't want to make false promises. So he said he can't really say that he'll, you know, have your back for the rest of the game because he's really just looking at the present right now. And then that's really the point where Avery says in her confessional that she feels like Derek should kind of throw himself in to protect her. How'd you guys feel about Derek saying, like, listen, I'm not going to make any promises?
Smart.
I felt
I
like
would
that
have
was
done the
smart.
same thing. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
again, you're not my bestest friend in the whole entire world. Like, they're challenge friends. Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
Like, they only see each other on the challenges. So, and to be fair, I
Well, no,
didn't
I
even
think
see them be that close.
Well, no, Derek and Avery,
Derek and
remember,
Avery lived
they were
together.
roommate. They were roommates.
Oh, they did. They did. But
Yeah.
still, like, I feel like that's a lot of pressure on somebody to put on someone. Like, I wouldn't want to do that to my friend and have that expectation when we're both up for elimination that they would fight for me over themselves. Because at the end of the day, this is for money. So
Yeah.
Yeah. This too, debut, shouldn't Jenny want Rachel versus Cara? Get your competition out to take Avery to the final. That's what I was thinking. Personally, I was kind of a little bit confused as to why they didn't go with that. But I guess like she knew that one of them was going to return. So obviously having one of them on her bad side would not be good for her game, especially that Jenny's already kind of a lone wolf in her era. So I kind of understood that play. Like I feel like she knew chances were that Avery wasn't gonna come back.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking happened. But yeah,
I think they all want to see strong women at the end, to be
yeah,
honest.
which is, I mean, I'm surprised. Like I understand like
I
wanting
mean, I'm
to
here for it.
Yeah,
go against
right.
the
I'm
best
here
of the
for the
best,
battle
but
of the
yeah.
best. But
Eh,
for Kara's defense, she says that she would do anything to repay the favor. And Kara does mention earlier as well that she has a relationship with Theo, despite kind of his tension with Polly. So that might be kind of another dynamic that we didn't necessarily see in the episode, but that could be a reason why Theo wanted to protect Cara Maria. And then we kind of have Corey who goes off a little bit on a tangent. He mentions that you really want to stick with strong players since they're the ones who will, win the dailies constantly. And he claims that he is a strong player. And then he kind of led with a little bit of a threat. And he told like Theo and Jenny like not to make an enemy of him. So Corey is definitely playing with some emotions.
I don't think he's playing with emotion. I think he's giving back what he's been getting from people. And
mhm,
good for him. It's about time he actually does it. Because I feel like a lot
mhm,
of times Corey second guesses himself in a few seasons, but now I feel like he's fully realized and he's ready to finally win. So good for
mhm.
him.
I agree with that. And I feel like, yes, it may have come off as a threat, but it's valid. Like Corey will most likely come back
Yeah.
regardless of who he goes up against. Like he's good at eliminations. He's proven to show himself as a strong player and be a strong asset to his team. Regardless of how you feel about him, regardless if he's not a champ yet, like he can show up when he needs to. So I did understand that. And then pretty much Derek mentions that Avery is the best opponent for Rachel. And then Corey's like, okay, so then that means you want to see me in the sand? You want to see me, Corey, instead of Derek?
But
Oh,
Rachel does make a point that like Derek K is one of the goats or is the goat, I should say, of the challenge. And I have a hard time disagreeing with her because we'll get into the elimination later, but no matter what Derek is going through, this guy does his
He's a
thing. Like
beast.
he does not believe in giving up. He shows up. And what I like about him the most is Derek might not be as big as these other guys, but he is not afraid of anybody. Like he will go into the stand with the biggest guys. And we've seen him in the past win against the biggest guys. So no matter how good Corey is, I don't ever underestimate Derek.
yeah.
Derek K.
I don't think you couldn't put fear in Derek's heart ever at
Yeah.
all. He is literally one of the greatest players of the show ever. He is a great challenger. He's scrappy as hell, the OG bulldog, whatever you want to call him, he is a go of the challenge. Like you cannot downplay that. And we will see clearly why he's able to hold his own in every elimination. It doesn't matter what it is. Derek will fight till the very end. So I did understand why Rachel said what she said. Um, but I do feel like, it's hard for people to think of Derek, I guess, like in the top 5 conversation or top 4. Like, it's very rare that I ever hear somebody have him placed that high, but he's always within the top 10 of men. So, hey, I'll give him that. Either way, there was gonna be a fight. Like, I knew if Derek is going up, if it's versus Derek Chavez or if it's Derek K versus Corey, all 3 of those guys were gonna fight like hell.
Yeah. And this comment that he wanted to go home without quitting, I actually disagree with that. I think he was actually looking out for Rachel more than he was looking out for himself. That's kind of what I got out of it.
Yeah,
But again, to all their own.
yeah. I don't think Rachel wanted to go up against Cara because they've also established a rapport with one another too.
Yeah.
And they've already gone against each other. But this would have been the elimination that everybody would have liked to see, like 2 female
That would have
champs
been a
like
good
go head to head. It
one.
would have been a
And
good
it would have
one. It
been
really would have.
Mm-hmm.
a rematch because I'm sorry, but the Cara Rachel that we saw last time in All Stars 4, that
Mm-hmm.
was a crazy elimination. Like that was
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah, it would have been crazy. I definitely, and honestly, I don't know, like with the way Rachel was moving, she might have been
Yes.
able to take out Cara, but then Cara does like kickboxing and stuff like that and CrossFit now too, right? So it would have
It
been
would have been
again
a really good matchup. Like I
matchup.
think
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would have been a
I,
show.
mm-hmm. I wonder if production was like hoping for it, like, yeah, send Cara in, send Cara in. Um, but anyway, so we get out of deliberation, and then Era 4 has a meeting to discuss, as a group, who should go into elimination, despite Theo and Jenny have already made up their minds. And Michelle peeps this. She's like, come on. I know what you're doing. You're trying to, create this conversation between the team to make it seem like this is a group decision, but it's not. You guys already know who you guys want to send in there. And Michelle tries to sway the team to protect Era 3, which obviously protects her man, her lovely man, Devin, in some way, somehow.
Oh
But
God.
Theo says, absolutely the fuck not. Since Corey and Jordan were relentless on him during the daily. And honestly, I don't blame Theo and Jenny for doing this
I
at
don't
all.
either.
At all,
And
because
maybe
they're at the bottom of their team. Like
And
right.
honestly, it was a smart strategy. Like, why take the smoke when you can kind of deliberate with the team? I mean,
Mhm.
granted, like Michelle's little ratty ass went and told Devin everything, but still.
Are we surprised? Like, are we
No.
surprised? And I want to make a comment about this because we, in this moment, right, when they're meeting up as Era 4, we see Kylan obviously also say the same thing. Like, we've been working with Era 3. Like, why fight that? Like, why go against what we've built with them? But you see Josh and Casey stay quiet.
Yeah.
Josh said,
yeah, I feel like
hey,
they pissed me off more than Michelle did in this in this
yes.
situation, because that's supposed to be your boy.
And
Where are you?
Josh's claim that he couldn't defend Corey because Corey was going after Theo, like in
But
the
he defended
daily.
Banana to the death of him when Bananas
Yeah,
was
like
up.
you didn't even like you didn't even pick Bananas to go into the elimination because you wanted to make up for something that happened seasons ago. Like it just didn't make sense. And I think like that really showed that Josh and Casey don't really have loyalties to Corey. Like they are really playing kind of
Mhm.
the middle grounds to see how they could get the furthest.
I
Or
think even
loyalties to the Vacation
Tori peeped
Alliance.
it. Yeah,
Well,
Tori peeped
Corey's
it
not.
too later
Well,
on.
right. But the fact is, Corey is in the era with Devin and Tori, who are in the Vacation Alliance,
That's
and
fair.
Jordan, who is pretty much Vacation Alliance adjacent because
Yeah.
of Tori. So it's crazy how like you guys have been working together this entire time, but then you don't say nothing when you have the chance to. And in fact, Josh is over here saying, "Oh, we'll deal with the backlash when we receive it. We'll deal with it when it blows up in our faces." But it's just like it's been blowing up in your face, and they're peeping it. But continue. I'm sorry.
That's an
I mean,
interesting comment, Bloody
he'll
Money.
keep getting you a
Yeah.
call back, but I don't think he'll ever get a win if he keeps the guys that are stronger than him. Because I guarantee you, all those guys will beat him in a final.
Listen, Bloody, I'm going to say this. As much as Josh is maybe not liked by the fandom, the man is going to get a call back because he brings some sort of entertainment. He's willing to get into arguments, disagreements with people, and he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Like, and he's a Big Brother winner. Yeah. And he's on a different, now he's on a Latin show in Latin America. Like, which is like a Big Brother show for like reality TV stars or celebrities or public figures. Like,
just disclaimer: his Big Brother win was because the other person was just worse than him. Just want to put that out there.
Right. And exactly, you can't win if you don't make a final. So like, I don't see him winning, but he has gotten further and further every season he's done so far lately. Like, he is doing better than he has in the past. But yeah, like, unfortunately, his cards are showing. His alliance is now questioning his loyalty. And then we see that obviously after Michelle Rat snitches to Devin, runs off to her man to let him know what happened. There's a big blowout between Corey and Josh because Josh was like, "Oh, Corey, are you okay?" And he's like, "Bro, don't be asking me if I'm okay. If you had a say in me going in and pretty much didn't protect me." Again, I don't blame Corey for being pissed.
But you know what? You know what it is? Josh does this sneaky thing and then wants to check in as if he's being a good friend. Like
Mhm.
stand your ground. If you fucked up, say you fucked up. Or if even if you came up to him and be like, listen, like, sorry, I couldn't have your back. Like, I think do that, then be like, are you okay? Like, obviously he's not okay. Like,
Mhm.
And
It's
remember
very
when a few
BB. It's very
episodes
BB.
ago,
very baby.
Casey said Josh has so many IOUs that is gonna catch up to him. This is the catching up to him because your
Okay.
IOUs are taking over for the people that actually had your back, and you're going back on your word for them because you owe another person. So he's
So,
getting all the smoke that he deserves. To be honest,
Casey, what's your excuse? What's Casey's excuse?
she I don't even know her excuse.
Because
To be honest, she just
yeah,
wants to be silent in the
it,
background and
always,
have
always,
all the
always,
words for
always.
Unless
Jenny.
it has something to do with Jenny.
And I'm telling you, that's why she hides behind so many people so that she doesn't have to be the forefront of strategy. She doesn't have to be the forefront of like backstabbing people.
But
And then,
that's how she won Big Brother, by
well,
doing that exact same thing.
so
Mm.
then,
Her game has not changed at all.
so
Oh, so
then
That's
she's
why
people,
just a
I
floater.
don't really
She's a
care.
forever
He's
floater.
a floater that's nice with everyone and gives everyone the words that they want to hear, and then make it to the end, and then everyone in the jury house voted for her because she was nice, and that's it. She
yeah.
doesn't. She don't. To me, she's not the most strategic person in the world that she thinks she is. That's why when she's commenting on Jenny, I just don't like it.
Yeah, we saw that she's in
Mm.
trouble next week, Brandon. Yeah, so again, Corey's pissed off. They're going at it. They're going crazy. And I understand like why Corey's pissed off. We all understand his anger behind it. Josh claims that it was hard for him to defend Corey because Corey was targeting his team. Like, hello, that's what you're supposed to do. Corey claims that him and Theo were going at it one-on-one. And at the end of the day, Corey's like, listen, I'm taking this personally because regardless of what you're saying to me right now in this moment, we talked about this a few episodes, and here we are again when you could have proven your loyalty to me or your friendship to me. And I'm not your friend. At the end of the day, I'm not your friend. Let's just keep it a buck. So
Yeah.
that's that. And then Tori, I'm glad Tori, she feels like Casey and Josh are two people in era 4 that they could count on, that they could rely on. But after this vote, she has no problem seeing it as personal as well, because it's like, why? What's happening here? I thought we were working together. And I said, okay, valid, Tori. I agree with your confessional in this moment. Peep it.
I will say, just before we move on to the elimination, Tori this
What he's gonna
season,
say.
Tori this season has been like
Digestible.
I like her. Yeah.
Palatable.
I think it's
Yes.
because she's not with Jordan that I get to see Tori for Tori and not Jordan and Tori
And Tori,
together.
that dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
We
glad that
also are seeing Tori without like a love interest, which I feel like every season she kind of gets
Which I
wrapped in
like.
with someone. I do too. I do too. Like she's not wrapped with someone. She's playing her own game. It is nice.
yeah, it is very nice to see this edited version of her.
Oh my God, Keeks, are we gonna even be able to say that you like her by the end of the season? You think
No.
that'll happen?
And that's okay. I don't have to like her. Like I still respect that she is a good competitor.
Oh my God,
She is very
Keeks,
strong.
wait.
Well,
I know the perfect Christmas present for you. I got it.
No,
We're done.
don't. I already know what you're thinking.
Keep going on.
You're thinking about her damn poetry book.
And I'm gonna get it for you for Christmas.
No, don't get me that Rupi Carl core copycat type book. I don't want to read that shit. I mean, no,
Oh,
no.
man.
Let me not shit on that. Let me not shit on that. That is her art. That is for her. That is just not an art I want to subscribe to, and that's okay. If y'all like her, if y'all like her poetry, that's I love that for y'all. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna shit on her outlet, her art. You know. But moving on from that, please don't get me that, okay? I will return it.
No promises.
All right, so let's get into the elimination. Take the elimination away, Brandon. Let's break down the rules, all that.
All right. So the elimination is called Fate of the Gladiators. So to begin, one person is the striker and another person is the evader. The striker will be blindfolded wearing boxing
Wait,
gloves, and the
Brittany,
evader.
I'm gonna cut you off. AR, I'm so happy you made this comment because when I swear to you, I was thinking I was gonna make the comment as Brandon said it. I was gonna be like, oh, Keeks is just gonna throw it in the fireplace. Girl, we think exactly alike.
Oh my god.
Sorry, keep
Hopefully
going.
not the fireplace. But going back to the elimination. So there's a striker and there's an evader. The evader will have a suit of armor with targets all over their body, as well as bells on the armor, and then some rubber chicken feet. It was really weird. And then the striker's job is to burst the targets from the evader's suit as fast as they can, and they'll switch roles, and whoever bursts the most targets within the fastest time will be the winner. I think I liked overall the challenge itself. It could have gone without its little quirkiness to me. I think if it was going to be something serious, let it be serious. Like, I didn't like the little chicken feet aspect of it. Like,
Oh, with the
why?
bells, the elf feet.
Yeah, like, just put bells on sneakers. Like, that's all you got to do. Or around
That
Yeah.
was
the
cute. It
ankles.
was like a little play.
Yeah, but it's not a cute challenge. It's supposed to be serious, you know?
Okay.
I guess. I mean, you know what was serious? That ass whooping that Avery got. Cause goddamn,
What?
baby, Rachel
What?
bodied her. I said, "Oh, is she okay?" She talking about she's worried about her face, her moneymaker for the challenge for the daily. I say, babes, you better be worried right now, because I don't know if you're gonna be
But
able
you
to go
know
to Lunar.
what? You know what? If we go
Rachel's
back in the
black though.
day, Naya prepared her for this day. Okay. And she was ready. And she took him like a champ. She wasn't crying. She held herself down.
Well,
Well,
she
let's hold on, because not Avery kind of held her own too with that fight. I'm not gonna say like she got
No,
plummeled.
that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
yeah,
That
and
she was holding
said
her
she does
stuff.
boxing, right? She says she does a little bit of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
It
yeah.
didn't show. It didn't show in this in this matchup, but you know, she tried
Well, you know what it is? I think the issue when Avery was like the evader, like she didn't move. Like she
at
didn't
all.
even try to like
She
dodge the
wasn't swift
hits.
enough. Yeah.
Well, I think she picked it up towards the end. Like she started like ducking and she was missing it. I don't know. Even Jordan was like, "What is she doing?" And I was like, "Same. Like, what is she doing? She's just taking the punches." But no, Rachel's a rock star. I want her in my corner when I go into a fight, man.
Yes, like the way Rachel was moving, I was just like, dang, like Rachel really damn near KO'd Avery. I
Yeah.
was like, whoa. And Rachel definitely had the right
Blindfolded.
strategy. She said I could hear her everywhere. Like, I know where I got her.
Mm-hmm.
TJ was even annoyed at Avery just standing there. He's like, come on, like
This was a dangerous challenge.
it
Like,
was.
I did
Yeah.
not expect. I thought they were gonna have more padding around the face, especially because they were like,
And didn't they
and
have some of
and
those
the
little
head.
spots in the on the headpiece too?
Yes, they had them
Yeah.
like here. Like,
So that's what I was like, ain't that like why would I was
you could give
surprised by
someone a
them having the
concussion.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised that the targets were on the head, like the helmet. Not gonna
Yeah.
Well,
lie.
I'm
I
not
thought it would have been
surprised because production made it. So, are we surprised?
true, true. Um, but yeah, it was crazy. And then we see Rachel is now the one that has to put on the targets, etc. And Avery is struggling at first, like to catch it. Rachel's too swift and quick for her. How did y'all feel about the second round with Rachel moving?
She started off smart. She started running around. I forgot who exactly said it, but they were like, Rachel's doing exactly what you should be doing, running around and evading. And I
Yeah.
think from there, like she just cut the amount of time that Avery had to even try to get the target. So like I once she started doing that, I already knew she was gonna win.
Yeah. And then Rachel even said that she's avoiding getting any strikes on the head. Like that's her main focus because she knows that she has a few targets there. So if she could at least like keep dodging a hit on the head, she'll know she's won. Very smart. Like very smart. You obviously won't be able to protect all of the targets. So pick a few that you're definitely going to protect. Yeah, that girl can move. Good for Rachel. Goals, man.
And I think it's apparent to us that Rachel ends up taking the win, even though it doesn't get determined until later, until both heats are done. But let's move on to Derek K versus Corey, and go ahead, Brendan, go into that.
All right, so this one, I know everyone was looking forward to Rachel and Avery, but Derek K and Corey was the main event of the night. So in the first round, Derek K starts off as the evader, and Corey is obviously targeting him. So it was just very interesting to see because you see Derek K kind of struggling to move because of his leg, but Corey struggles to find him at first. But once Corey finds him, I he took out all his anger on Derek. Like
Quickly.
he was going boom, 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 and you just see like the not the paint, but the I
But
guess
like
it's paint, right?
powder. No, I
The
think it was like more of
powder,
like a
the
powder.
colored powder,
Yeah.
yeah, just flying all over the place, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he got like all of them, I think. So it was definitely something to see. Like I was proud of Corey from this performance. But what about
Oh
you,
yeah.
Lina?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I think Corey did an amazing job. Like you said, he struggled at first to find him, but once Corey was able to catch his prey, he there was no releasing it. Like Corey went in hard. Even at the end of the round, like Derek looked exhausted, to be honest. So I mean, it was good to
Yes.
watch.
Yeah, like I was like, and honestly, that's another thing. I'm like, dang, like I would have much rather been the one to obviously be the one like trying to get the targets, the striker's job, or done the striker first, just so I know I wouldn't be super gassed out. It was rough for Derek. I was like, how is he going to get back up? But at the same time, I'm like, it's Derek. Like, he's always going to find the energy to keep it going. So I wasn't surprised when it comes to his round. Corey is obviously evading, ducking, and everything, but Derek starts swinging too and gets
Yeah.
several targets. And he quickly gets Corey and continues to burst the targets as well. Is moving a little bit slower because he's just hopping on the leg, but he is still moving nonetheless.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And
again,
by the
just
end of it, you were like, who
who
exactly
won?
won? Because
Yeah.
everyone hit their target.
Yeah, both men got all of their targets. It was really down to time.
And don't we see that, like, I'm sorry, at the end of that second round between Corey and Derek, don't we see like Corey kind of like flips Derek down, or I don't, did he do something like where he
So he pushed him, but he does it multiple times during like I think they have 5 minutes. Like there are multiple times where Derek is like trying to push like punch the targets and Corey will push him. And we don't see productions or like TJ like say anything. So I was actually surprised because I had noticed it a couple times. I was like, it's
yeah.
not fair. Like Derek keeps on pushing. Sorry, Corey keeps on pushing Derek, but he's supposed to eat the hits.
I mean, was that like a rule
Yeah,
that they
it
couldn't push
pretty
There was
them
much
no
off.
just seemed
rule.
like there were no
Because if
rules,
you're
pretty much.
punching me in the face, I'm gonna push you. That's my first natural instinct. So like,
Yeah.
But at the end of that, like I feel like I saw Corey like dead ass like grab Derek and like toss him to the ground. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god. And I think, or like they both fell, and then like more of those targets that Derek was missing popped as well, and that's what caused the confusion. Like, who the heck won?
mhm.
But
I mean,
honestly, the
maybe he was
guys,
playing into the fact that his leg was kind of injured. So he was like, all
mm,
right, if I get this guy in the one leg, basically, it's my chance to win.
Yeah.
I
true,
mean, smart
true,
on his end.
right. But then we get to the end, and pretty much it's clear Rachel takes the win. But Avery, you deserve your props for holding it down because Rachel is not an easy feat at all. So like it was, you held your own. You did well.
You held your
You did
own.
a you did better this season. I'm sure we will probably see you again in the future. Especially with you building these connections. Um and hopefully you play an even better game if you ever do get brought back. Um and I think obviously people are starting to realize, like Avery is not going to be someone that you can just take out as easily in this game. So shout out to you, Avery. And then we find out that Corey is the ultimate winner. And again, that was not an easy battle between the guys. It was really close, but Corey pretty much uh hit the targets a lot faster than Derek, or
And
not even that much
before
faster.
before we move on to the new targets, I just want to say I think Corey's sportsmanship here made up for what he
Yes.
displayed in
Yes.
the actual challenge or the actual daily, because he literally like picked up Derek's head. He was like, keep your head up, you did amazing, it was an honor to go against you.
Hmm.
And I really
Yeah.
like that because it shows the true uh nature of what the challenge was
Is,
and
yeah.
initially started out with. Yeah.
And it felt like a little bit of Era One was rubbing off of Corey because Era
Yeah.
One is known to be like that, right? Where they're constantly like they're okay with taking the L's and taking them gracefully. Like, yes, they
Yeah.
may be upset in the moment, they wanted better for themselves, but you don't see them like ever being that upset or down by the fact that they're taking the L. Like they'll eat it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was very happy about that moment too. It was a good moment between them, and I'm just glad that they cleared the air because you could tell both of them just really love being a part of the challenge and playing the game. Derek has always made it very clear, like if they ask him to come back, he will come back. And I feel like it's the same thing for Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he does.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I was very proud. It was a great elimination. Honestly, it did make me consider like, what if Derek C was going up against Derek K? How would he have made out? Because Derek C is very fast. So, maybe he would have been doing the ducking and dodging and evading
Yeah.
like Rachel was, since he is speedy. But it also made me consider like, how would this have played out if this was Rachel and Cara? Like, this would have been in a crazy matchup, a matchup of the century, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or if it was Derek K and Devin, like it was supposed to be.
mm,
Honestly, Devin got lucky. I'm just gonna put that out there.
yeah,
I think he got lucky
He
because
did. He really
yeah.
did.
yeah, he did. So then we move on to the targets. And Lena, do you want to take on the targets, the new target moment?
Yes. Okay, so the new targets, we have poor Rachel, who is alone on Era One. I thought there was going to be a little bit of a twist this episode. I thought we were going to maybe switch it up to partners, but no, Rachel is solo in Era One as the target. Era Two, we have Laurel and Ryan. Ryan taking that step up. Era 3, we have Tori and Devin, the two best friends. And guys, the couch decided to do something. We have Casey and Kylan for Era 4.
I quick question for Not to comment on the couch.
I have a question about the couch.
For era 4, before actually, you know what? Never mind, because there's only 3 guys left. So if it was Josh last episode, then okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, it
Because I
makes
was gonna
sense.
say, like, why didn't Josh step up? But the math is mathing in my head. So
Mhm.
never mind.
I have a comment about the couch. Let's talk about the couch. If she was a
The big
couch, what
comfy
kind of couch?
couch.
She ain't comfy.
She ain't comfy. Yeah.
What kind of couch do y'all think Casey would be if you had a
She is
choose?
the
You know those. Go ahead, Lena.
She is the Burrow couch that I own. Very difficult, not comfortable at all, expensive for no damn reason. She is that couch. No good.
Okay.
Yeah. You know those couches that are expensive. They definitely don't look comfortable. You get them to like put them in your space for the aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you sit on them, you're like,
They're hard
"Ugh,
as hell.
I can't get used to you. Like I want to
Yeah.
return you." I think that's Casey.
Yes, an IKEA couch. Yeah, something like that. I feel like she's definitely in the family room. Nobody really sits in there. Nobody really goes in the family room. Like they have
She might
another
be in the
room.
back. You never know. Unassembled.
Yeah. Oh, right, in the box. In the box, bro. That's crazy.
Damn,
But
not the box. That's
And
ultimate.
right, nobody's assembled you
The
yet. Like
Casey
you're
fans
there.
are gonna come for us.
She has fans?
I don't know. The IKEA employees. I don't know.
Oh wow. I ain't never
Done.
seen a Casey fan page ever. You know, like those people that do the stand videos or whatever, the fan edits. I ain't never seen a fan edit of Casey in my life.
I have
Ever.
seen
And she
her
was on
popping up on
BB.
TikTok all the time, trying to get money
Yeah.
from
You know
people.
what's crazy? Rihanna, Robin Fenty likes Casey. And they're like,
Yes.
cool.
I don't know. I saw that. I don't get it, but I saw it.
Maybe they smoked together. I don't know. But I was just like, what? I was so confused by that. I said, really, Ree? Out of all the people? I guess. I mean, again, her social game has been carrying her. So we're just not seeing that side of her. And again, I do feel like the only season where we got a little bit more of Casey's personality was World Championship. And that was like the only season I was like, yeah, I kind of like Casey there. But anyway, like Rachel, we also were hoping that she would not be the target for her era and that this whole thing would have switched up. I was very surprised by this. I was like, so what are we going to do now? What do y'all think is going to happen moving forward? I'm thinking that the next episode it will lead to an individual game.
Twist. Yeah.
A twist.
It has to be something. I think what they should have done was if you are the target and you go down, once you win, you can't automatically be the next target. So that would have left her safe for at least a week. And she could have just played for like, I don't know, to help whoever she wanted out in other targets. But I think moving forward, like it would have to, I'm guessing, be an individual challenge that happens. Because I don't see how else it's gonna play out.
Right, me too. I did see a tweet and I forgot who tweeted it. So I'm sorry that I can't give you credit for this. But somebody said they kind of wish that once it was left to Derek and Rachel as the only two people from their era standing, that TJ should have been like, okay, well, since there's only Rachel and Derek, y'all are automatically going into the finale.
A ticket to the final. Wow.
A ticket to the final.
Good.
And then everybody else would have had to go against like and shook everything up. And they
that
got
been
into the final.
So good.
And then everyone else would have had to fight to the finish.
Honestly,
I mean, because
that
it is
really
battle
good.
of the eras, right?
Yeah.
So each era has to be represented in the final. So 2-2-2-2. That would have been perfect. Honestly,
really
I would have preferred that because there would have been so much internal chaos.
And I feel like it would have been cool to see TJ like bring it up in that moment. Like
Yeah.
them thinking that Rachel and Derek are gonna go in, and then TJ be like, "Oh, you guys think that it's gonna be Rachel and Derek, but they're actually good. They're going to the final. So I'll see you
Yeah.
there. The rest of y'all, that
Fight
would
it
have been
out.
crazy.
Yeah. That would have
But
been
we have
nice.
so much of the season left to go. Like, how would they have done that?
Yeah.
And I
So
feel like that would have essentially like motivated them to want to like actually go down to
mm-hmm.
represent the final two and not
Right.
just like stay in the corner safe because they would want to go against a specific person to ensure that they're getting to the end.
Mm-hmm. It would have been
Oh,
interesting
that would
for
have been a
sure.
good twist.
Yeah, but there's
And then like
14,
playing in the
14
challenges,
episodes
they
to
could have
go.
just played for money at that point. So
That is one way to make the Vacation Alliance to turn on each other for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think you also said, Debut, that you think Rachel wins the daily next episode. I'm hoping, because I really want her to make it out there. I think she's a great representation for Era One. It's sad that she's by herself at this point, but hopefully, since she does seem to have strong connections with a lot of people outside of the in other eras, like obviously she has a connection with Kara, with Ryan, Derek. She has a connection with Josh, even though, like, they're not. Well, Josh is not as reliable at this point, but still, like, she does have some sort of respect. And I do think that people are going to be rooting for Rachel since she's going to be by herself. So maybe
I
more people would be inclined to work with her.
Yeah, and I think even if they decide not to make it like an individual game, at least they have to do something timed. Like something where
Mm-hmm.
like Rachel can like be in control of like her game and her time for the entire era. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
I have
we
a
shall see.
question really
Mm-hmm.
quick. Since Rachel is the only girl, right? How is it gonna work out? Are we gonna see possibly like 3 eras go down? Because it has to be 2 guys against 2 girls.
Mm,
Yeah.
That could
There has to be a twist.
it has to be
there
because
has
Has
to
she's
to
the only
be.
be.
one
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
There has to be. Is there anything that y'all want to comment on that's been going on social media? Anything else? Um, I don't think the challengers have been talking that. I did see Corey mention something, and then Josh mentioned something. You
What did
know,
Josh say?
Josh said that he's busy filming, or like he's going to paid press for the show, the Los 50 Famoso or
Oh
whatever.
God,
I can't
Josh.
remember the exact name, so please forgive me if I butchered that. But pretty much he's not trying to respond to Corey because he's busy doing press. Um, I don't know.
But he had time to
So
write
that was
that.
the dig. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that was a
Right.
dig. I haven't seen anything else. Is there anything that y'all have seen?
First of all,
Anything y'all
Corey's
want us to
booked
comment
and
on?
busy all the time. So I don't know what
Right.
he's even
And
talking
I'm pretty
about.
sure, isn't like Corey the most followed challenger, or one of the most followed
Corey has
challengers?
like 1 million plus followers. So I don't know what you're saying, Josh. It's fine.
Yeah. I
Just
don't
leave
know.
Josh in his own world. It's fine. I feel like Josh is just in his like bubble. It's okay. Like, do you?
Anything that our fellow faves in the chat want us to discuss before we go? Again, I didn't see much. Oh, Corey posted like a picture of like him and like some Gladiator animated thing or whatever. He was like holding Brad and Derek's
Mm-hmm.
face. And then he said, "Josh, he's coming for you next." Yeah. I wish I could engage with Corey's Instagram post, but I'm actually doing paid press for Telemundo today, and that's a callback to Corey saying that a whole bunch of the challengers were doing free press for that whole challenger thing event that they hosted for the
Mm-hmm.
fans. But yeah, thank you, Jolly. Thank you for
Thanks for
joining
tuning in,
us.
Jolly.
Appreciate ya. Yeah, I don't know what else is going on, y'all. It feels like it's been kind of meh this week. Um, but yeah, if we have nothing
I
else
feel
to
like
comment about,
there will be a lot to say next week when we figure out what they're gonna do with the structure moving
Yeah.
forward.
For sure. I'm still mad that they didn't show the Bananas and Tina argument, but hey, it is what it is. Wait, what is Josh doing press for? So he's on that show, Lo Famoso 50 or Los 50, which is kind of like a Big Brother-ish type of show of like 50 players from different types of reality shows or public figures in Latin America. Los 50, yeah. It's not Exalton. It's not that. He can't. No, no, no. That's too much. That's too much time away. Like that's a long time of filming.
That's
Um,
too much for him.
yeah, too much for him. I don't think he can keep up with them. It's a lot.
That's what
Um,
Horacio was on.
yeah, Los 50 is the show. And I believe it's coming out soon. It's pretty cool. So if you know
Don't they
Spanish and
have
you
one
want to
in
tune into it,
Germany?
Yeah,
what?
apparently Turbo's doing
Oh,
it.
he is. Oh, Turbo does everything. Him and Berna, they're like everywhere. They're everywhere. Um, but anyway, that concludes tonight's episode. We've been yapping for way too long. My mouth is starting to get dry. So it's time to get the hell out of here and say goodbye to y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to follow us at Reality Unloaded Pod on Instagram and Reality Unloaded Podcast on TikTok. And yeah, be on the lookout. Please share your comments, your thoughts, but remember, keep it cute or you will get the boot. Anyway, that's all. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Deuces.